Reconnect and heal today. Welcome to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Love Never Dies Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf, and it is my pleasure to be with you again this week. So I have a question for you. Do you have an inner medium that's begging to be set free? Well, if you said yes to that question, then you're going to want to stick with me today because I'm going to have a beautiful show for you. My guest today is Lynn Van Praagh-Gratton. She's known nationally as a heart-centered spiritual medium who loves connecting those who have passed over with their friends and family. And both sides are longing for the opportunity to communicate, and that's her purpose, to help that happen. So Lynn, she hails from New York, and she comes from a long line of highly gifted psychics and mediums, and it's been her family's gifts for many generations, actually. And she actually grew up in Bayside, New York, and after high school, she was a stay-at-home mom, and then she went on to become a flight service manager at American Airlines. And she knew as a kid that she was blessed with a gift, and it's been around her for over 40 years. But it wasn't until her husband left his body that she fully embraced her gifts and decided to share and help others. And the universe helped to encourage her further by magnifying her gift. And when she retired from American Airlines, Lynn began to focus on her abilities and sharing them with others. She has 4 kids, and she's also a grandma to 7, which she doesn't look like. I saw her picture. Lynn never imagined the worlds that have opened up to her over these past few years. And throughout her life, Lynn has experienced many difficulties along her path, and through her faith and her abilities, she's been able to forge ahead and remain strong. And she says, I want to heal people by speaking to those who can no longer be heard by their loved ones left behind. That's her mantra. So without any further ado, Lynn, are you with me?
I certainly am, Jamie, and I'm honored to be on your show, and thank you so very much.
I'm so happy to have you. So you know, I decided to just title the show, Do You Have an Inner Medium That's Begging to Be Set Free? Because I think you would probably agree, we all do, right?
Absolutely. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes,
yeah,
we certainly do.
Like, yeah, you know, like they say, we only use, I think, 3% of our brain.
Correct.
So we probably use then, most people use 0% of their psychic and mediumistic abilities. So, you know, it's a big maymission for me, Lynn, to have people realize you can do this yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, and of course, you jumpstart the relationship. You know, you kind of help people realize, you put them in the deep end, right? And say, whoa, it's obvious that my loved one is here because how did you know he liked gummy bears or whatever?
Yeah. You know, before we even start, I have to share this with you. So I went to the bookstore when your book came out. Didn't know nothing about you, and I have your book.
You sound like you're from New York. I didn't know nothing about you.
I didn't know nothing about you. So I went.
But wait a minute. You knew something about me if you went looking for my book.
So you're talking about inner mediums. I'm talking about inner intuition, and it's funny because when you invited me to be on your show, I was so touched, and I went over to my coffee table, and I said, wait a second, I have a glass coffee table, and your book is on my coffee table underneath. And I said, my God, that's the same woman that I read the book. This is the same one. It was so bizarre. It's still sitting right where it's been since the book came out. So I just wanted to share that.
Wait a minute. I want to understand this. Did you buy the book, the Love Never Dies book, when it came out, or did you buy it recently? No, when it came out.
No, when it came out.
And so it's been sitting on your coffee table all this while, but it took us a couple of years for me to connect with you in this way and just reach out and say, come on the show.
Sitting there. Yes, I have some spiritual books I keep on my glass coffee, and I was so drawn to your book that I put it. So when you had asked me, why was I saying this is the inner intuition and the medium. I said, wow. So I went over and I looked at it. Wait a minute, this is the same lady who invited me on her show. This is crazy. So
you're
all connected, center of attention on my coffee table and to a lot of my guests, so I just wanted to share.
And then the fact that you kept it there on the coffee table.
It's still right there. It is still. We pick it up every week to dust and put it back down.
Yeah,
I know.
I just love the dust that my books gather.
No, because your book is like a spotlight right on next to all my other spiritual books. So it's really bizarre. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So there's no coincidences in life. Obviously, this needed to happen.
I believe you are James Van Praagh-Gratton's sister, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest of 4 children. Yes.
Right. And I met him at when he was up at Omega. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. I mean, I've never told this story, but I think I can tell you.
You're telling the whole world right now, but that's okay.
But it's you and me. We're talking. So
yes.
I went up to meet him, and this was before Love Never Dies published.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in his workshop, and he was doing readings, one after another. And there was this man who he called out from the audience, and he said, you I need to do a reading for, because your mother, your wife is asking to speak to you about your son. And the guy keeps saying, I don't have a son. And James was like all confused, because all he kept hearing was about his son, this man's son. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, throughout this workshop, I was really down on myself. Honest to God, I was thinking, man, he is an incredible medium. He's got so much more skill than I do. And I was really feeling bad, Mm-hmm. And then when he kept saying, your son, and finally the man said, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have a son. James gave up. And in that moment, I heard that man's wife speaking and explaining that she was saying, you are my son now. I am here to help heal and rebirth you. And it was so profound. It was so clear what she was saying. Well, during the lunch break, I walk up to the guy and I say, would you like me to tell you what I think your wife was saying? And he says, yes. And I say, she's saying you're her son. She's rebirthing you. And he burst into tears and he said, oh my gosh, she promised me before she left her body that she would reparent me. She knew I was wounded, and that was her confirmation.
Wow.
And it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Wow.
At that moment, wow, because I'm a shrink, what comes through to me, what I hear is related to how to help the relationship heal, how to help the individual heal. So it came through, and I understood it in a different way. And it was such a healing for me, because I was there doing the compare and despair. Oh, James is better than I am. Is that amazing? That was an amazing...
That is a beautiful story, yeah. And, it's so true. When we get messages that come forth, it's so true, because, we give it to the person that's in front of us, and some of them look at you like you're crazy. But then you get emails or you get phone calls saying, oh, my God, you just changed my life. Yeah, so, at that moment, I always say to them, like, psychic amnesia, I call it, too, and it's like, at that state, they're connected, I believe that they're connected in, like, the physical earth way, how they would connect it, They're not saying, no, there's no brother, no, there's no son, no, there's... But meanwhile, spirit, spirit comes through in different ways, So this is how this came forth, That's beautiful. I was in Chicago 2 weeks ago, and I really think it's wild how some of my messages come forth, because I was in a big group. I was lecturing in front of a big group, I guess it was a couple of people, and all of a sudden, I had this gentleman in spirit named Ben. He comes forth, and then I hear Longwood Street, and he said, I'm her dad. So that's how I picked it up. So I had all these people there, and I gave them the message. I knew it was going over to the right side of the room. I wasn't really zeroing in on the person, so I just put it out there generally. And I never get street names. Sometimes you get first and middle, but a street name? Never. So the girl stood up. And she said to me, yes. She said, my dad's name is Ben. He was a mailman and a truck driver who delivered to street, and we lived on Longwood Street. And I'm like, marvelous? So he came forth. So what I'm trying to say is, he came forth with even like what he did in the physical. He drove a truck. He did directions. So he came with the name of his street to validate it. So, so perfect to her. And I said, that's incredible. I couldn't believe it. I said, really? So
it always amazes you, right? No matter how many times.
It certainly does.
Right?
Sometimes we're in awe, and like the audience is saying, well, why are you in awe? You should be used to this. But sometimes they hit us right between the eyes with certain things, and that's what happens here with you, too. So that is an amazing story. That's beautiful.
And it was really a gift to really give me the the confidence
Absolutely.
to go forward.
Because you were questioning. You were saying, well, no, maybe I'm not that. No.
Yeah.
They'll always correct. The universe will always correct. So definitely.
Right.
That's a definite.
So now you said that your skills became stronger after your husband left his body. Notice I'm working for a paradigm shift worldwide to where I want people to speak differently about the word death, because we don't die, we just leave our bodies. So that's why I don't even say anything except that, just so
I really don't like to say that word. I don't like to say death.
Because we don't die. So maybe you'll also help our love revolution, and you will say left his body too.
Yes.
I don't think that I even said that in Love Never Dies, the book, because I hadn't really gotten it so clearly until after I'd written it. So when your husband left his body, I think you must have experienced something similar to what I did. He kind of really broke open the door, right?
Yes. What happened was when he had passed, I didn't know in the physical that he had passed yet. But I knew something wasn't right. And then I got that feeling like he's transitioned. He's left his body. So I had a vision of his face. And it was rising, just his face, right in front of me. And my girlfriend was with me. And it was rising. And I said, it's something with his head. And she said, looked at me like I'm crazy. We're driving. I said, Dennis isn't here. He's stepped over to the other side. He's on the other side.
You knew
of the
it.
tail. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, it's his head. So lo and behold, when we found out and everything, of course, everything was validated, but I never felt that he died. He just left, and let me tell you, he's on fire. He's on fire with the messages and the signs he gives me. So, even with my book, he just gave me. I'll talk about it after a major sign. But he had passed, and then what happened was I had it all my life since about 4 years old when I had like that knowing, and I had an experience, and I put that in my book. And just certain things when I look back now. Wow. And then I was around it with family members for many, many years after he passed. And the first year after he passed is when I knew that my service was to be out there and to help. I predicted 9/11. I was landing in Istanbul at that time, and I remember saying I fear for the United States. 2 weeks later, it happens. I then flying over the Statue of Liberty the day before. I said to my girlfriend, I'm fearing for the United States. And she looks at me. They all look at me like I'm nuts. But then it all comes to fruition, But definitely, I knew I was on a road, and I knew I worked for the airlines. I was a manager of flight attendants, so I had wings. I was in the heavens. So all the signs were there.
Flying high,
Yeah.
Right.
And I knew that I had to, I don't want to say retire because I early outed from the airlines to proceed with this service that I needed to do to help those that need me, and that's basically how that all came about, And I don't make any decisions. The universe.
You're just listening and being led.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
How did you had the skills before, but you just weren't paying attention?
Well, I did have the skills before. Kind of like, I was raising my family. I was enjoying my life. I was 15 years old with my husband, and don't like to say this, but we did the Ouija board, just for the heck of it at that point in time. And it spelled, I asked, are we going to get married? Yes. I said, and what will Dennis retire as, And it spelled out homicide detective. Now, we were 15 years old. He was not thinking of becoming a police officer by no means. Well, lo and behold, he did become a New York City detective, and he retired as a homicide detective. So it was there. It was always there, starting all different situations. And then I knew that. So after he had passed, the pressure was on. I felt the pressure was on because it was more. It was all by my whole thing was all by word of mouth. You know, that's how I got my credibility. It was all word of mouth.
How long ago was this that you began?
17 years, out professionally. 17. Yeah.
Interesting. 17 is the day of the month that Jean, my husband, left his body. The 17th.
The 17th. See, there's no coincidences. That's why we're talking about it. Yeah. I believe there's signs. We talk about things, and you know, people come into your life for this and that. It's all. If we just really, you know, open our eyes, you know, and going back to the medium within you, is if you just develop, we all have gifts. If we just develop them and believe and develop them in the right ways with our intuitiveness and our gift of mediumship.
So because we're talking about how to access your inner medium, talk to everybody about how you developed it. What did you do?
Okay, so I basically knew I had a gift. I basically knew something was going on with me all those years. But I just, you know, my mom was had the gift also, and we were brought up Irish Catholic, you know, and but she didn't know what that was, you know, and she was afraid, and she became an alcoholic because she was so fearful that she didn't know, you know, what this was all about. So we would be kneeling around the bed, praying, and we would always be talking about the Mother Mary, and my mom had a very devout, you know, devotion to her, and you know, different things happened like that. So basically, that's where it all came about. You know, was our upbringing, you know, and like I said, I did put a lot of that in my book.
But I would say that your upbringing as a Catholic was not helpful to the development of your skills.
100%.
If anything, it was an impediment, right?
100%.
Right.
Yes, right. Because I feel, well, we know, I feel so, my faith is so strong. I feel so connected to the source, to the universe, to Mother Mary. I feel very, very strong, you know, the angels. I connect with all of that. And so like I say, it came in the natural. But then I started to go to some development classes just to make sure that I'm on the right path, you know, and that's what I did.
What did those classes consist of?
Those classes had a lot of they do like exercises with the brain, try to, you know, talk to you, you meditate, you know, put you in a quiet place, what comes, and basically to develop, you know, you do a major exercise with different, you know, people in the room. I wound up starting to teach development classes after. Yeah, and then you know, I connected with two of my mentors, and you know, because I wanted to make sure that if I'm made my mission statement to do this, I want to make sure I'm doing this in the way that it's supposed to be. You know, I didn't want I wanted it to come from pure love from the heart. So I wanted it the way it's supposed to be. I didn't want to have it where it was, you know, with the ego and this and that. That I want to develop the correct way. And I do believe that's how it all came about. And, you know, I listened a lot of times to meditation tapes, to, you know, listen to Wayne Dyer. I was like, you know, connected with a lot of those people, you know, connected with Brian Weiss, with past lives. You know, I wanted as much as I could get, the knowledge that I needed to you know, bring forth that message. And that's how I developed.
Now, I notice when I talk to other mediums that, and I find this true for myself, that each of us has a preferred, like a primary mode through which spirit comes through. Some are more clairaudient and basically hear, and some are more clairvoyant and get mental images and symbols, and some are clairsentient and they get sensations. Now, obviously, as part of our training, we want to develop as much of our instrument as possible, you know, so that we are primed to receive energetic communications through all of our senses. That's what I teach people how to do in my
everybody's
workshops
highest
and so on,
good,
right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Right? So you want to be as tuned up as you can be so that you're able to receive through your hearing, your sense, your sight, and so on. But then we also notice that spirits have a preferred way of communicating, you know?
Yes, they do.
Right?
Yes,
I always this is a really good example of what I'm talking about. I did the first Love Never Dies retreat here at my house, and there was a PhD in psych who came, and he was all upset with his father, and he kept saying, my father has not come through to me, and I'm very mad at him. And I kept seeing the father. He said, my father won't talk to me. And I kept seeing the father putting his arm around the man. Yes. And it was clear to me the father was never a talker when he was in a body. He's not a big talker now. But he demonstrates his love physically. And I said this to the guy, and he said, yeah, that's how he was. So I'm like, you're trying to change the guy and twist his arm now?
Yeah. And plus he's blocking him. Plus he's probably blocking him in his own way. Yeah, you know?
Because you're not accepting the love as he wants to bring it.
Exactly. They want it the way they want it, and they want it in that physical way. You know, they don't get it. That's not how it is, over there. That's not how it is, on the other side of the veil.
Nobody likes to have his arm twisted. It's like, I want you to love me this way.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
They love you the way, and it's the same as your earthly relationships, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
It feels like we're old friends. Do you got that?
Yeah, I got that. I know.
Yeah, cool.
You say that. Wow, we passed in a different life together, but it's and it's funny because, people ask me, well, am I clairsentient, am I clairaudient? It could be different. You could just sense and feel. You could just see, you could just hear. I don't know why they chose, but I'm sure, and I feel you're this like this. I do it all. See, hear, feel. I tell them all the time. I see spirit. My frame of references connect where I see. Usually a scientist, I see Einstein over the scientist.
Yeah. This is how you learn to understand the symbols, right?
Exactly. The symbols of it, yeah.
Wait a minute. We got to take a break. Hold the thought. We'll be back in a moment.
Absolutely.
On Love Never Dies Radio.
Love Never Dies is now on the Dream Vision 7 radio network every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Jamie Turndorf, also known as Dr. Love, is the #1 international best-selling author of Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased. If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, tune in and find out how to reconnect and heal any unfinished business using Dr. Turndorf's groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique. Visit AskDrLove.com to find out more.
Are you ready for the quantum age?
Humanity's next step in evolution?
Dream Vision 7 Radio Network invites you to the extraordinary platform of evolutionary voices for the quantum age.
Let's explore. Learn more about this upcoming age where we bridge science with spirituality.
Where potentiality meets reality.
Where we take compassion into action.
Our trailblazers and visionaries will ask the whys, the what-ifs, while igniting continuous possibility.
Come along with us into an age beyond what we know today, where we can grow together in unity consciousness.
Experience evolutionary voices for the quantum age, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern on DreamVision7Radio.com.
Omega Institute, offering workshops, retreats, and online learning dedicated to awakening the best in the human spirit. For 40 years, Omega has been a gathering place for great thinkers, creative talent, spiritual teachers, and social visionaries. With 390 workshops to choose from, Omega offers something for everyone. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org.
Are you searching for a way to help create global change? Dream Vision 7 Radio Network's vision is to have an eclectic group of radio hosts dedicated to educating, enlightening, and helping humankind with positive messages and tools that enhance lives using different modalities and programs. If you would like to join our team and help illuminate the universe, call Deborah at 508-226-1723 or Deborah at dreamvision7radio.com.
Are you grieving a lost loved one? Did you know that reconnecting is the only way to end the pain? Hi, it's Dr. Jamie Turndorf inviting you to my transformational Love Never Dies workshop, October 22 through 29 at Rhythmia Life Advancement Center in Costa Rica, where I'll guide you to turn off your tears and turn on boundless prosperity in every area of your life. Together we'll share mouth-watering farm-to-table organic meals as we surrender to the caress of tropical sea breezes, sensual Swedish massages, muscle-melting whirlpools, Dead Sea mud baths, mind-expanding Shiva Ray yoga, the Answer Is You classes by Reverend Beckwith, breathwork, hydrocolonic cleanses, and plant medicine. Join me and be liberated from a sense of separation and sink into a sea of love, peace, healing, and unity. For more information and to register, visit rhythmia.link/Turndorf event. That's rhythmia.link/Turndorf event.
You're listening to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you yearn to get along better with your life partner or spouse, friends, family members, and even coworkers, Dr. Turndorf's book, Kiss Your Fights Goodbye, Dr. Love's 10 Simple Steps to Cooling Conflict and Rekindling Your Relationship, shows you how to turn conflict into connection for a lifetime of lasting love. Find out more about Kiss Your Fights Goodbye at AskDrLove.com. This is Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. This show is for you, the listener. Once again, here's Dr. Turndorf.
Welcome back, everybody, to Love Never Dies Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf, and I'm talking with psychic medium Lynn Van Praagh-Gratton. Lynn, before we took the break, you took us on a very interesting path where you explained how when you see Einstein, then you're told, that's a symbol I'm getting to know that the loved one in spirit was a scientist. Yes. This is a big, big skill to know how to interpret the signs, the images, the symbols that get put into your mind. Can you talk a little more about that?
Sure. So they give me symbols a lot too. It's like all different ways how they come through, as you know. But the one time I was doing a group of people, and there was a gentleman in the corner, and I just saw that symbol over his head as Einstein. So I went over to him and I said to him, I see your father, and I feel that your father was a very, very smart man, and he's given me, the Einstein symbol, and I'm picking up that I believe that he was probably a scientist. Was that right? And he validated that he was a scientist, and he also followed in his footsteps. So he also was a scientist. So he loved how his father came forth, and then he also gave me a symbol of he showed me a book. I got a book, and then I had like the symbol of it, and it was a book that he had written. So I said, your dad wrote a book about, with science and with the universe, and that there's more to it than just, what we're going through at this point in time on the earth. And he goes, yes, and that's how that all came through. And then, of course, it all continues on, and then the messages come forth. So it's interesting, because what I notice is, well, number one, you have to understand the symbol and properly interpret it, and sometimes we miss. Sometimes we do it better than others. But, for example, one of my coaches, Paula, was working with someone, and she kept seeing the image of bullets. And so she went to the direction of, was your father a police officer? Was he in the military? And what I said to her was, you have to realize that what comes through, especially for me and for the coaches, because we're here helping people reconnect and heal unfinished business. Absolutely.
So what's coming through this is more related to the relationship, so that it was the bullets was a symbol of we've been in a war with each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So a crazy thing happened. I'm sure you felt this, Lynn, when something comes through and you just have to go with it, even though you know you're probably going to make an idiot of yourself.
Absolutely. I go with
you know what I mean? But it's just that feeling of just take the leap,
Why am I telling them this?
Right? So I'm on Hay House Radio. I'm doing the Love Never Dies show, and this woman is crying because her son committed suicide, and she's hysterical and upset. And all I keep seeing is frogs. I'm thinking, Jamie, you need your head examined. What the heck? Frogs.
Yeah, really.
So finally I just said, look, I know this is crazy, but he's showing me frogs, and he's saying, frogs croak, but I didn't.
I love it.
Frogs croak, but I didn't. So I said, does this mean anything to you? And she says, the night he left his body, a frog was on our porch, and he hasn't left.
Wow. Wow. He's still there.
Right, frogs croak, and I didn't. And, he had this really funny sense of humor. It was just really sarcastic.
That's so great.
And every time it happens, you're like, go for it. Trust yourself. Don't doubt. And the weirder it is, the more true it is. I'm sure you've found.
You're right. And the funny thing is, when I try it, when I teach, teach the my clients and everything, or who comes to the classes, I say the first thing is trust. Because as you know, the biggest thing is this in my mind or is this real? Is this really real? And I see,
what's real? Nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing. But you just got to trust it. And I love when I get the emails back. Wow, I trusted it, and it really was, I had a funny one. I mean, I have so many. I mean, I put some in my book, but, and I didn't want to come out with a normal book that I'm a medium and I'm giving you some information, on what I did. No. I wanted something different, which it is. But I had one where I see this woman standing behind this gentleman who was his mom, and she's standing and she's licking lollipops, and I'm like, what in the heck is this? So I said,
is this an oral fixation?
I mean, really? I'm like, what is this? How am I going to tell this in front of all these people? Well, I'm gonna. So I says, your mom is there, and she's standing behind you, and I says, and she's licking these lollipops and lollipops and lollipops. So she says to me, well, that might be because my mother's name was Margaret, he said, and she loved to give us lollipops. So any good deed we did, but her nickname was Lolly.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that great?
That's how, because how else would you come to her nickname Lolly?
Lolly.
Except to show you a lollipop.
Yes, so that's why.
Marvelous, isn't it?
Isn't that great?
And very creative how they do it, right?
I love it. And that's why when you say you got to, you want to do it. I hate to give out certain things, but I know I have to, and it always connects. It always connects.
It has to. And then also I notice, so in addition to the way that they'll put images in your mind, and then you have to decipher the meaning of the symbols.
Absolutely.
Often they'll do what I call, they'll give you signs through what I call earthly props, which are, as you know, the electronic devices.
Absolutely.
And there's a way that they're sent, like a couple of months ago, I was talking on the phone with a friend of mine about somebody who had really annoyed me, and obviously my husband was annoyed too. So all of a sudden I hear this really loud roaring sound from the kitchen, and I go into the kitchen and I see that the microwave, which is off, is blowing. So the fan is blowing. So I said, if I decipher the meaning of this communication, I bet you it's going to stop. And I think what Jean is saying is, this guy is full of hot air.
Yeah, I love it.
And then as soon as I said it, it stopped. And it's funny, I film these things because Jean loves to make these funny manifestations. So it's on my Facebook page, that one.
Oh, my goodness. I'll have to check this all out. That's great.
Yeah. I love when we capture them, on camera.
It's great. My husband was such a non-believer. He was a city detective. He says, your whole family's nuts. You people are crazy. He would always say we're all nuts, But, the conversation at the holiday dinner table would all be about ghosts and spirits, and, they'd all
even though they were Catholics, they did.
Yeah.
They did
well,
talk
this is
about
after my mom.
Okay.
This is after my mom wasn't, right at that table at that point in time.
Okay.
But so they would talk and chat. So the agreement that we had, because he says, all right, so I'll make a deal with you, and he says, and I'll tell you, if I leave before you, I'll give you some messages and signs. If you leave, you do that. Okay, we agreed on dimes, fine, that was great. But my daughter, first of all, I have an amazing spirit photo that he, in ectoplasm, how he presented himself, which is just amazing. But my daughter had gotten a car a couple of weeks after he passed. And he, we agreed, we're going to prove it. We'll prove it, So she gets a license plate, and the license plate says CME 6007. Now, he passed on June 7th. See me. And June 7th was the license plate. Yes.
I love the license plate manifestations.
Yeah.
I love
I do it all the time.
them.
All the time. His shield, when I'm thinking and I'm trying to make a decision, and all of a sudden the car passes in front of me, and it'll say angel, or it'll say his shield number. So I said, okay,
Isn't it marvelous?
It's funny when you start to argue with spirit, your husband.
Right?
I stopped already. Stop.
Yeah. Jean did the, one day I was missing him very, very much.
Yeah.
And right on the thruway, I was heading north, a car passes in front of me, and the license was TOTO, Toto, number 2. So Toto was his nickname.
I just got such chills. Isn't that just so amazing? I love it.
I know.
Great stories.
I know. And then I had a friend, a gay couple, and they were out to dinner, and the one guy was saying, I had a dream last night in which Jean came into the dream, and he was sitting at one of those high bar chairs. And I walked up to him in the dream, and I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm saving a place for Jamie. And then they leave the restaurant, and as they leave, a car drives in front of them, and the license plate was Jamie.
Oh, isn't that so great? We could talk for years about this, but when you talk to this with I don't want to say the normal person, but the person who's like not awakened, they're like, you people are crazy.
You're just crazy.
So
Your
cool.
elevator doesn't go to the top floor. It's funny because I came from, as you know, because you read Love Never Dies, I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in the afterlife. But when the first night back from Italy, the man's quoting something to me, and I don't know what the heck it is, and then I go the next day to his priest, and I say to the dude, my husband's quoting something, and he looks at me like, she's nuts. The elevator just doesn't go to the top floor anymore,
No.
But then when I told the priest what Jean was saying, he literally blanched. He crossed himself, and he said, Dear God, Jamie, first I didn't believe he was talking to you, but I do now. And then he says, you're quoting an obscure biblical passage from the Communion of Saints. I'm like, hello. I don't know what that is.
Wow. Isn't that so cool? It's beautiful.
I know.
It's just, I am just so happy that I feel it's God's gift, but I feel that it was a little. I didn't have to study it hard. That's how I kind of feel. I feel that he was, I had it developed, but he also gave me such an amazing. And it's not only me; it's everybody. But I honor it so much. I certainly.
Well, it's clear that this is it's a labor of love for you.
Oh, it so much is. It so much is. And even my book, when I was so busy the last couple of days with lawyers and stuff, and even my book, the hand too it is, but it's the hand, and I said, but it's the hand reaching out to try to help those that are in pain. It's the hand that's reaching out to try to help the world. It's not just the hand that's connected with the book. It's really trying to reach out and help, and that's what
that's your life.
Believe, and that's my life. And my kids,
and you still live in New York, right? So you do a lot of reading.
I do still live in Long Island. Yes, I certainly do.
It's an interesting thing. You and I are close enough that we'll be able to see each other in person because I live in Dutchess County, New York. But
I'm going to Saratoga Springs next weekend. I have a big event at a restaurant.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, I've noticed there are a lot of mediums that come from Long Island. Have you noticed that?
The water.
It's the water?
No.
I've wondered, is there a vortex there? We're going to take a break. Think on that question. I'll be back with you in a moment.
I certainly will. Yes.
Love Never Dies.
Love Never Dies is now on the Dream Vision 7 radio network every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Jamie Turndorf, also known as Dr. Love, is the #1 international best-selling author of Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased. If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, tune in and find out how to reconnect and heal any unfinished business using Dr. Turndorf's groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique. Visit AskDrLove.com to find out more.
If you can't stop grieving over the loss of someone you love, the reason is surprisingly simple. You aren't meant to be separated from those you love. And reconnecting and staying connected is the only way to turn off the tears and transform your grief to joy. For a healing transformation like nothing you've ever experienced before, join Dr. Jamie Turndorf for her Rhythmia Costa Rica workshop, Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with Your Lost Loved One, based on her #1 international best-selling Hay House book, Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased in 34 languages. Reconnect and dissolve the pain of grief. Heal any unfinished business. Obtain guidance from loved ones in spirit and discover boundless prosperity in every aspect of your life. For more information and to register today for the transformation vacation of a lifetime, visit AskDrLove.com/live events. That's AskDrLove.com/live events.
Looking for a fun and relaxing getaway? Omega Rest and Rejuvenation Retreats are a great way to unwind and renew your spirit. Stroll through the garden, relax by the lake, or try a daily yoga or movement class. You can stretch your body, quiet your mind, and do as much or as little as you choose. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org.
Do you sometimes feel like your life is a series of problems to be solved rather than an adventure to open to? Do your challenges often bring up fear, worry, anxiety, and confusion rather than empowering you to your core? Explore powerful tools and techniques offered by Mary O'Malley in her new book, What's in the Way is the Way, and experience ease, peace, joy, and a deep trust in this amazing adventure called life. To find out more about what Mary offers, visit her website at maryo'malley.com.
You're listening to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you can't stop crying over the bodily loss of a loved one, Dr. Turndorf's #1 international bestseller, Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased, will show you how to toss out the tissues and transform your grief into joy using her groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique that enables you to reconnect and even heal unfinished business with those in spirit without the assistance of a medium, channeler, or psychic. Sign up for Dr. Love's free newsletter at AskDrLove.com and receive an exciting gift, a free excerpt of Love Never Dies. And now, back to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf.
Hello again, and welcome back to Love Never Dies Radio. I'm having such a great time with my girl today. I just feel like we're just sitting around having a glass of wine.
Out here talking and chatting, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's great. It's so light, so it really is.
It's very easy and light.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, in a way, I was thinking our stories are similar, right? Because I, my whole life took a new trajectory from being mainstream shrink to a shrinking medium. When my husband left his body, and that happened to you. You really, really burst forth in your mediumship as well.
Yes, I did at a later time in life also. But again, we all when it's our time for our journey. It's our path.
Yeah.
So that's when it happens.
Yeah. Now it's funny, Lynn, because I noticed that when I was reading the biographies of other mediums, George Anderson and some of the others, and by the way, again, all from Long Island, which we were talking about. Why are they all from Long Island? There's something there. All of these people developed their abilities following a very high fever. Had you heard about that?
I had heard about that. Thank God, I didn't. I just
you didn't have to go that route.
No, I didn't. Well, thank God, no. I didn't. I definitely feel that it really took off after my husband. And then I was kidding before saying the water. Well, we don't even drink Long Island water. We drink bottled water because
it's like nuclear.
We live like on a potato farm. That it was a potato farm many years ago. So now I don't think so. So all my kids, we've always, went to do either, Poland Springs from some kind of source of water, and who knows if that's any good to either these days, but yeah, there are a lot, and there are a lot of development classes on Long Island too. I don't search out for people to come to me, like either by readings or anything. Although not to boast and be ego, but I just was nominated one of the best on Long Island, so I thought that was pretty cool. I was so excited.
So
I don't know who nominated me.
Describe what your life is. You do readings at home.
Yes.
You travel and you do galleries.
Yes. I have a very big following. I go all over. In fact, there's supposedly a woman building me a house out in Colorado. It's really crazy. These people are so beautiful. They want to give you anything. But I was offered that last year, so I said no. My kids are here and my grandkids. I have to stay in New York. But I have a pretty big following in Colorado and Vermont and New Jersey and Pennsylvania and New York, of course. And what
do you go on the road and you see your people out of town?
I go on the road. Yes, I do. I'll be doing some book signings and everything in December out in Denver. So,
talk about your book, because I know you're just finishing it up now, right?
It's done. It's out. It's finished.
It's out. So tell everybody the name of the book, what it's about.
Okay. Sure. Well, what it is, Jamie, is if you would have told me I would be sitting here being an author, I would say, what? I'm so down to earth, and I'm real, and I don't put any, flares up or anything. So I said I was going to write a book about 3 years ago. I wanted, everybody writes a book about their life story and their situations, and, I'm a medium, I do this, I do that. But I wanted something different. So what happened was I had gone to a group reading, because I do group readings, I do privates, I do events, all that, and I go to them, which is really kind of different. I travel to them. So if they're I'm going to Staten Island this weekend, Saratoga next weekend. I go to them because that's just how it all came about. I don't know why, but I do. I don't have an office here, although I have an office I use when I need to. But so what happened was I just lost my complete train of thought because my energy is off the chart.
We were talking about your book and how it came about because you didn't want it to be about yourself.
I had to pull myself down again for a minute. So so I did this group, and I read this couple, and there's about 10 people there, and I read this couple, and they came over to me after, and they said they were intrigued by me. They said, wow, it's so amazing. The husband was a lawyer, a retired lawyer from New York, New Jersey. And they said, can we go out to dinner in a couple of weeks? So I don't usually go out to dinner with my clients, but something about them just connected me. So I wound up meeting them, and it was a couple of months, it wasn't weeks. And he had said to me, you inspire me in my spirituality. So I said, really? He says, yep, I have the love of my life. I have my career. He said, now I need my spiritual guidance, and you're my spiritual guidance. And he says, I wrote a book called The Hand One, or The Hand at that point. And I said, really? I said, wow, that's so weird, because I was on a whole different avenue on how I was writing my book. Like I told you, I'm a medium, I'm this. And I wanted something, I asked Spirit to give me something that was different. And they did. So what happened was I saw Harry Potter right in front of him. It was so funny. There you go, frame of reference. I said, I think I need to spin off of your book, and I think it's going to be a couple of books. So he looks at me like, what? So he says, of course. He says, yes, spin off on my book. Because how he ended it, I picked it up. So in other words, it ended at chapter 49. I picked up in 50. It's back in the 60s. It's a story, but yet it's fiction, nonfiction. It has a touch of my life story, all my life story, truth. And my husband's alive in the book, which I kind of thought was cool. You know, I come home from doing my readings, and he's there with the children. You know, it's kind of different. So, you know, his book, he's very, you know, smart, so he put a lot of history into it. We talked about the concentration camps, you know, from in there, and it starts with all that, and then, you know, the two people wind up in New York, and then, of course, then my book picks up from there, and I am me, basically, and it's great. It's smaller than I wanted at the point, but has very important facts in it.
But it's not the size of the wave; it's the motion of the ocean.
Absolutely. Yes, you're right. My next book will be, you know, where it has all about, you know, me again, but it's all about my children and my husband's passing and how we all dealt, and you know, and then you know, a book like that. But this book just came out last week. We just launched it last week. And, you know, in fact, we just finished this morning with the Facebook page and the website, so it's really pretty cool. And this man and his wife are just beautiful, beautiful people, and that's where we're at with the book, and I'm really excited about it, so we're just...
So are you doing a book tour and that whole thing, or you just...
Yes, we're trying to get that together. I know I'll be out in Denver in December, so they're trying to get everything together. What happened is a self-published book. See, I know nothing about books. I say I know more about, you know, energy in the ether than I do here with the people on the earth, because it gets crazy.
I get that.
So, so I didn't realize that that's what it was, and I really wasn't in that portion of it. You know, I just said, this man had written 10 books in 7 years before the book he wrote with me.
That's
so
channel
we collaborated.
Wisdom right there, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So we collaborated, you know, and there's no coincidences. You know, the universe put us together. You know, I totally believe that. And he puts me with a lawyer. I said, great.
Yeah, I've noticed there are a lot of lawyers also who are doing a lot of afterlife research.
Absolutely, yes, because you know what it is? Because they're opening up now, and they're really saying, is this really real? You know, like even Evan Alexander, you know, Dr. Evan Alexander, he was a non-believer. He was a neurosurgeon. He didn't believe in any of this. And I went to one of his conferences, and what an amazing man. What an amazing man. Now I think he
and I were both, talk about no coincidence. I was teaching my transdimensional grief resolution method at New York Open Center last weekend, and he was there also doing a workshop on the same day.
Really? Did you get to meet him?
You know, we were unable to speak to each other because when you're presenting, you're just in the room.
I know, yeah. Sweet man. Wonderful man. He gave a great, you know, I just wanted to go to his
I'm sorry
conference.
We didn't meet, yeah. So in the last few minutes of the show, I want you to make sure everybody knows how to find you, give your website, you know, all your social media handles.
I can't believe it's an hour already. My goodness, it went so fast.
I know, when you're in the spirit realm, it flies, you know?
It goes, yes. Yes, so first of all, I was honored to meet you and talk with you, and I definitely feel we have some kind of a connection, so that's beautiful. So thank you.
It is. I'm so glad that you came.
My website it's a long one. is Lynn Van Praagh-Gratton.com. So that would be LYNNVANPRAGHGratton.com. I have Facebook, so I have my Facebook, which is my name, and then I also have my book's Facebook now is called thehandsbook.net, and they can go on my email, you know, send me an email, lvpg@aol.com.
Say that one again.
LV is in Victor, P is in Peter, G is in George, at AOL.com, LVPG, Lynn Van Praagh-Gratton. And, you know, and you're
also on
my website.
You're on Instagram, right?
I'm on Instagram. You know, I'm not a computer person. I'm from the 60s. But let me tell you, I'm learning quickly. My assistant's like, oh, my God, don't do anything till I check it out. Meanwhile,
do nothing till you hear from me. Well, I saw you because they just set me up on Instagram, and I saw you were there. So what's your handle there on Instagram?
Oh, geez, I knew you were going to ask me that. And I
think,
know.
You know what? Wait a minute.
LVPG,
I wrote it down. I'm going to tell you what your handle is. Are you ready?
Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Wait a minute. I'm going to give it to you.
It's LVPG, right?
Yes, that's what it is.
Thank you. I'm telling you, it's too much for me. I'd rather deal with spirit.
I know.
You know, they get you in the physical world, and there's too much hustle and bustle.
I know, but you got a lot of energy. You got the bubbly energy of a kid. Again, your book is available everywhere. Books are sold on Amazon.
My book is available on my website, on its own site. We have it on its own website, handsbook.com, .net. I'm sorry, and Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
And when we're going to go off air, I'd like you to just stay with me for a minute so we can have a little, debrief. But just give a last, in the last minute, just a little parting thought for everybody who's listening.
A parting thought for everybody who's listening.
Well, regarding finding your inner medium.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I always talk about love. You share that love and give that love out. And if you radiate your light, you'll attract that love, because light attracts
Lovely.
Love.
So we're going to end on that point. Let your love shine. Lovely meeting you, and I'll see you next time on Love Never Dies Radio.
You're listening to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. Is your heart still hurting over the bodily loss of your loved one? The reason is simple. We're not meant to be separated from those we love. And reconnecting is the only solution. But reconnecting and staying connected requires guidance. That's why Dr. Turndorf has created her exclusive members-only Love Club, a private, intimate, and loving online group where she'll personally guide you to reestablish your relationship with your loved one in spirit and even resolve any issues that remain. If you're ready to discover the healing and joy of reconnecting, visit AskDrLove.com/theloveclub and apply for a seat. But don't wait. To keep the group intimate, seats are limited. Visit AskDrLove.com/theloveclub and request to join today. That's AskDrLove.com/theloveclub.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.